It hasn't been 8 years this time.
It hasn't been 8 years. It's only been a week. So
Yeah.
right now, our schedule, we're 100% batting average. Like,
Hey, I like that. Always good to
yeah,
use baseball terms.
exactly. So last week we talked about, I'm John, this is Adam, and so let's talk about that. Well, I think we got a new name,
Yeah.
to the, 7 people that watched it last week.
I don't know. There were maybe 30 or 40 views, maybe.
Yeah, there was a couple. I don't know who those people were, but
Yeah. Someone really bored.
I don't know how many times my mom watched, so.
Maybe my wife went and kept rewatching it, so it looked like
Right.
somebody was watching.
We did get one suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, which I like.
Yeah. Sorry.
We took everything into consideration. But yeah, I think for now, of course, who knows what the future holds, but going away from Cuzbuzz, and so our new name for the 7 people watching, go ahead.
It is
What
Sklotsky's
is it?
Deli.
Yep.
Do you remember Sklotsky's Deli?
Do I?
I never ate there, but like it was one of those like things in town. It's like Sklotsky's. I want to go to
Yeah, you always
Sklotsky's.
saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying it wrong, but it's how it's pronounced. No, we are
Delicatessen.
Exactly. Was it Delicatessen? Sklotsky's Delicatessen. I was thinking Sklotsky's Deli, but Delicatessen. Yes. We are going to be known here moving forward as
Let them know.
Pickin Paradise.
Right. Pickin the dash paradise.
Oh, we're going with the little fancy.
I mean, why not? Little country. Because let them know you got to say it. Pickin.
Little country bumpkin.
Pickin paradise.
Pickin. We have most of our teeth.
Yeah. I mean, we grew up in Florida, but
yeah.
I mean, we don't have Fort Meade accents. But,
Ooh. Hopefully no one from the Fort is watching.
Right, exactly. I don't know how we got away with that, not having that deep Southern drawl.
I don't know. Like, I've been told very seldomly that, like, I have sort of an accent, but I'm, like, pretty sure I don't. Like, I might say words that people pick up on. Like, my wife always makes fun of me because I always... Well, I text y'all. I text that. Like, oh, you like, hey, what are y'all doing tomorrow? Yeah. But my wife always sees me because I always say, toilet.
Toilet.
She's like, it's not toilet.
Toilet.
It's toilet. And I'm like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean. So there are a few words here and there that I get teased on.
Speaking of, that's one of my favorite words to say is moist towelette.
While you're on the toilet?
Yeah.
At a...
Excuse me, sir. Do you have a moist towelette?
When you're at what garage sale you were talking about last time? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the word.
Oh, estate sale?
Estate sale. So that's when you're like, sir, can I have a moist towelette? I'm here at your estate sale, dropping a load in your bathroom. It's fine because I'm going to buy this shirt for 99 cents. And I'm still going to ask you if you'll take a dime.
This is good reselling talk, but wet wipes.
Are we talking like kids wet wipes? Or are we talking like, hey, dude, like the dude wipes?
Yeah, the dude wipes, man. They're a little pricey.
Hey,
worth it.
Dude, they had that opportunity when they came out to have that like show come
had the whole crew.
Like, hey, dude.
Yeah. Could have been on the toilet. Yeah.
Don't be caught by no jackrabbits, you hear?
Hey, dude. Yeah, priceless. Okay, so Pickin Paradise. Down south. Logo coming soon. All right. So why don't we do some actual talk about reselling? We had our first video pop out.
Yes.
which we went to the Browns farm,
Yeah.
which me and you had never been to.
It's not in Cleveland.
No, it's not in Cleveland. Cleveland rocks, though. Um,
Cleveland does a lot.
so one thing I figured out very quickly, like we've done videos in the past, like even not doing YouTube, we've done videos all along and love shooting videos and stuff. But I think like when we did videos before YouTube, when we were recording, it was for the video. Like everything we recorded was for the video. Like it's kind of
Yeah.
different to pick
Yeah.
and record because like, okay, you got to find cool stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and you got to find decent stuff. And oh yeah, I got to record it and make it entertaining at the same time. But I want to get this deal,
Yeah.
and like, oh, but I do this full time. I got to make money too. It's like
Well,
it
the thing that I realized, because you've been doing it a little bit longer, and I mean this was probably my first. It was my first time going out with you, unless it
right.
was just fun back in the day. But like, um, people were a little bit more receptive than I thought they would be with the camera. Because I mean,
Yeah.
um, like if we ever had a booth somewhere, which that could be a cool thing one day.
Mhm.
Sell some of our stuff, sell some Funkos, throw some of those out there. But
Right.
everybody was pretty receptive. Like even like older generation, like it wasn't even young people selling. Like there might be in 20 to 30s, but I mean there were people there probably 60, 70 years old, and I mean we had the camera going, and I mean they didn't flinch. They weren't like, oh no no no, get the camera back away from me. They just kind of went with the flow. So I was actually very surprised. I guess
Yeah. Most of them were
that's
like, you got a YouTube
more of a
channel?
norm. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So
Yeah, it was cool. I
yeah,
didn't tell you because so yeah, obviously I do this full time, so I go out a lot more than Adam does. So I strap on the old camera and let it record. Um, which I realize when I'm not with you, I don't talk as much. So it's like like just dead air. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I got to talk to myself, and then people
yeah,
look at you like, who's he talking to? Like, what's this idiot? Like, and I actually like I'm kind of narrating. I like, oh, I got to say something, so I'm narrating like what I'm looking at, and the
hmm
guy beside me thought he was talking. I was talking to him, so he starts talking to me and stuff, and I'm like, all right, just go with it.
I wonder if maybe you had an AirPod like in your, or even both, just like
Oh yeah,
have the
yeah,
perception that you're talking to someone on the phone. That way, if someone said something back to you, like you'd be like, you just kind of point your ear, and they'd be like, oh, okay, he's talking to someone. He's
right.
not talking to himself. He's talking to an actual person.
It's weird though, like,
Yeah.
and
Well.
I noticed that I'm with the camera recording, I'm picking up stuff that I normally wouldn't pick up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not fun to look at me going through piles of jeans, or polos or whatever. Like after so many of them, you're like, okay, let me see something cool,
Yeah.
and
I
you know,
agree. I mean, you'll have to venture out, I guess, a little bit on some stuff, but I mean, I don't know, like we both kind of have our certain tastes as far as like what we look for certain things. Like I said in the last video, like I have to get a little bit more. Eventually, I will, but I have a little bit more venture out, like get other cards and start looking for this person, and if I can get it and just flip it, if I'm doing it for the more bang for the buck type of thing, I'm not just collecting it. I think I got to get into that realm, and then learning more and more about the clothing aspect from you here and there. I don't know. I think we'll have fun with different thrift stores, or if we're going to an estate sale, if I can keep you away
yeah,
from the bathroom.
right,
um, you know,
it's tough.
we'll have fun with finding stuff, because I mean that's the one thing I've always loved about a garage sale, because it's like me and my wife now will have like five or six things like on our always list that we're like always looking for this item, but then we might be like
Always.
oh, something for the front room, so we'll always have that kind of in mind, and we'll look around at a garage sale like it's just random stuff, so you never know what you're going to find, and that's part of it what I like. You're not going to a store and you're going to Hobby Lobby and you're buying something for the front room. You have no idea what you're going to buy. You have no idea what kind of treasure that you're going to pick.
Treasures.
You're going to pick from paradise.
Grails.
You see what I did there?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pick it right from paradise.
Pickin. We
Need
should have a
merch
theme.
now
We should have a
for our
theme song.
people.
I
Dude.
I have a shirt person.
Okay. Okay.
Just saying.
I actually wish you were with me the other day. I go up and these is an older couple, and they had a few things out of their car, right? And it was clothes, like, but they had good clothes. And I'm going through, and she's just trying to get rid of it. And
It's an
then
ex-boyfriend.
I move some clothes, and there's a box of cards.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I look, and it was interesting though because it was all packs of cards,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't sealed. They were all opened, but the
Mm.
cards were put back in the packs.
Oh, I got you.
And
Like, yeah.
I mean, but it was newer cards.
Yeah.
And so I'm opening, I'm looking through, and there's probably like 200 cards there, like,
Nice.
and it was all newer stuff. And I'm looking at it, and I pick up the packs, and I don't know what packs they were, but it was like silver foil packs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking and I'm opening them, and she had no idea. She just bought it in a lot or something, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy was like $10, $10 for all of it.
Oh man, I would have done that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I almost did. Like, I'm like, all
You
right,
should have
I'm
just
gonna
done
do
that.
it.
And I'm like, hey, you owe me $10. Send me money
Right.
right now to cash out.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping me was all the packs were open. So I'm like,
Yeah.
did they go through and just pick out?
Well, yeah, they probably went through and like honey picked it, but I mean, I don't know. That's one of those things that I mean, I remember back in the day, like there'd be 8,000 baseball players that got baseball cards, and it's like, like who's this person? Nowadays I think it's a little bit different, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, somebody might just think like, I mean, if it was me, like I might just pick through like, okay, I want a couple Braves players, some Dodgers,
Right.
unless it's like an Aaron Judge, like I'm not pulling a Yankees card. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want a Yankees card. But I mean, maybe it got cherry picked, maybe it didn't. But I mean, for $10, that's definitely worth the gamble of,
I should have
flipping
done it.
through. Yeah, flipping through. I mean, you figure one card out of 200, if it was worth $20 and you doubled your money, and then even if you
Yeah.
just had all those random cards behind you, it's like, okay, well, I'll eventually sell these all together in just one big lot where it's like, hey, this is 1,000 cards, just random, and maybe it'll complete someone's, collection of like a series that they're trying to have all the cards or something.
I should have done it. So are you going to sell cards?
Yeah, I want to. I mean, I have an eBay, but I don't do it in that aspect. Like I don't, I do sell stuff here and there, but I more or less buy stuff. But
you need to jump on Whatnot.
I know I need to figure it out. Like I've never even, honestly, I mean, it's not on my phone. Like I've never even looked at it 100%. Like
Right.
I have no idea what it is, how to use it. I've just used eBay for 20 years, 25 years, however long eBay's been around. I've been using it. So I'm more accustomed to that. But yeah, no, I mean, I've watched, probably in the last 2 or 3 weeks, like just being more interested in like, what we're starting back up. Like I've been watching people opening packs.
Yeah.
And,
Breaks.
sometimes it's boring. Depending on the person, like I'm one of those, it's like, if
they get hyped, like, oh,
yeah, it's like, okay, dude, calm down. Like, that's just some random dude, on the Cardinals. Like, I don't even know who that is.
Right.
Or they'll be like, oh my gosh, look, it's a one of one. It's a one of one. It's like,
Right.
dude, who is that guy? He didn't even make the All-Star team. Like, relax.
Cecil Rodriguez.
Exactly. Sometimes they're good though. Like, I know, like American Arbitrage. I know he has. Kind of like we have, like he'll go through garage sales and he'll do that, but then he also has the cards one, and actually enjoys his because like he'll flip through them. And he was doing football cards the other day, and I can't remember what year. Thinking it was like 86 or 87. And he's like, I'm looking for the Bo Jackson rookie card, and he's flipping through, and he's like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. He's like, oh, I got it. Look, look, look. And I mean, he actually got the Bo Jackson. I'm like, dude, that's so
Nice.
random that,
Yeah.
you got the cards, you went and bought, maybe he bought 4 or 5 packs, but
Right.
the one that he had showed on there, like, I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, that's what I would like to do. Like, go back and find like nostalgic players, that we grew up liking. Like, I could start with that. Um, at least have kind of an avenue as far as like what I'm wanting to do, like certain players, certain teams. But yeah, I definitely want to get started on trying to, sell some, and just for the interest part of it, make a little bucks, some bucks on the side would be nice.
Right. Because whatnot, I mean, you can just jump on there anytime, sell a few cards, jump off, and it's immediate cash. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of nice. It, and so, I've sold a lot of comics on there,
Okay.
and it's a pretty easy process to get set up as a seller.
Okay.
The only thing, and here's a little like, don't get me banned, but um, the only thing, and I was trying to get, you know, set up as a seller and stuff, and one of the questions, or one of the things they wanted to know, was how much inventory you had, and
Oh yeah.
they wanted to see a picture of your inventory.
Okay.
Well, at the time, I hadn't like, I had some long boxes of comics and stuff, but I didn't know how much they wanted to see, like,
Yeah.
whatever. So I literally, and this is, just between me and you and the 7 people, I just Googled an image of comic book long boxes in a warehouse and sent that to them, and they were like, "Yep, approved."
Oh, nice.
So,
So they think
so
you so
yeah,
they think you have 150,000 comics.
right,
Hey, you know what? That's okay.
right.
That's good to know.
And they probably didn't need to see that. Like, I probably could have showed them my 6 or 7 long boxes, and they would have been, "Yeah, that's cool." But
I could do that, and they
um,
could be like, "Well, what are you selling?" And I could throw like a couple randoms, and I could pull my Mickey Mantle 1952 rookie. Be like, "Well, I
right,
have this. I
out of
don't
your
know if I'm gonna.
pocket.
Can I sell this for like $12, maybe? You know?
um, yeah. So yeah, actually, because the video's out now, I can just say, so American Arbitrage actually made a showing in our video, made a little guest appearance, which he was really cool.
Yeah. Total
And
coincidence too.
we didn't even hype it. Like, if you watch our
Yeah.
video and you don't know who he is, maybe I'd probably go later and tag him and stuff. But if you don't know who he is, you'd be like, who is this janitor? Like,
Yeah. No, that was a good. It was a good little sway away from what we were doing.
right,
And like you said, like he was totally cool. Someone like that is like a good person, because it's like, he might have, hundreds of thousands of followers and people watching his, videos all the time, but it literally just took what, 5-10 minutes, talk to us
right.
just about a random, telling us, this is what I did to get started, this would be my suggestion. Even offered, hey, if you guys want to, have me on the podcast, or, if I could help you guys out at all, like, let me know. I mean, dude, that's huge. Like, that's
Yeah,
such a nice thing. It's such a nice gesture for him to do that.
he was super nice off camera. Like, yeah, like, he just like kept talking to us. I'm like, dude, do you want to get a spot of tea or something? Like,
I wish I remember what they had at the concession stand there, because you had mentioned that, because I'm actually kind of open. I told my wife, and she's like, that's gross, but we should start doing like concession stand food whenever we're at
yes,
like flea markets or something like that. So um, I'll venture a little bit, but we definitely should have been like, hey man, can I get you a hot pretzel or a hot sausage?
the one, the one at Plant City, it's so much fun. Um, and dude, I'm thinking about, because I'm trying to learn Spanish better. But they have you seen it? You could buy them on Amazon. They've got earbuds that
Oh yeah.
translate in your ear live. Like, that's
Hmm.
cool. Like, I've never
Hmm.
tried one, but worth it to try. But yeah, it's fun out there in Plant City, because like they have like live music,
Hmm.
and it's all Spanish music, all Spanish food, and most of it I can't read it, so I don't know what to order, but
Yeah.
it smells so good. Yeah,
Just look for the word queso and be like,
right.
yes.
La la la
Uh,
la queso.
polo queso, polo
Hmm.
queso. just chicken queso.
But yeah, you'll have to come with me. Actually, the one in Lakeland,
Hmm.
um, that one's crazy. Like it comes alive. It's only on Sundays, um,
Oh
and
yeah, you were telling me that one.
yeah, it comes alive on Sundays, and
Yeah.
literally, like I think I was the only English speaking person there. It was fun though, like except for all the kids. Like I'd go up to the booth, and I'd be like, how much, and they just look at me, and then they'd have point to their little kid who'd run over, who was on their iPad. He'd run
Hmm.
over, little kid, and just talk to me in English, and then like translate. I'm like, okay,
Lord bless the school system.
yes,
Yeah, no, I would definitely go with you on that one. I was actually looking on that, like on schedule wise, like, my church, I live 45 minutes away from you. So, like, my church is not accessible to where I could go to you and then get back for church. But if there's
yeah,
ever
it's a
a
little
random,
tough.
if there's a random, like this Sunday coming up, like, there's no, Sunday school. So technically, like, I could do it this Sunday, but I'm flying up to Shmayo. Um,
Nice,
so there is
getting a
no
little snow.
possibility. Hopefully, hopefully. I
What
was
do you mean?
actually thinking,
Hopefully, like
well, I mean, not while we're landing and not while we're flying back, because
right, right.
that'll just delay. But no, I actually thought about maybe next week, like even if we pop on here for like 5 or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
um, I could be like on location from Canton, Ohio, because people will really, really watch it then.
Yeah, they would be like, he's in Ohio.
He's in Ohio. Wyo. Did I ever?
Leave Ohio.
Yes, exactly. Back to the beach. Frankie Avalon.
Yes.
Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin. But yeah. So, but no, what I was saying was, and I have to show you this. Um, so when I was at the flea market the other day, yeah, when the camera's going, I feel like, oh, I got to look at cool stuff and maybe buy some cool stuff. So I bought something the
Hmm.
other day that I've never bought before, had very little knowledge about it.
Women's
Um,
underpants.
Yes, women's underoos, um, panties, uh, brasiers.
It's a bro.
Speaking of, actually, I do actually have some sports bras. They're Brooks.
Oh,
Like
really?
three sports bras I got for cheap, and they're almost brand new. But like, I don't know.
What size are
I,
they?
because first of all, I don't. I think women maybe are okay with it, but guys, like, you don't buy other guys' underwear. Like that's just not a thing.
That's because guys are always sweaty and dirty. So, I mean,
Yes,
you
they
know,
know, and they
they're
just wear them till there's holes and stuff.
that's one thing I can definitely tell you because I've been to Goodwill for years, always kind of like looking through Goodwill for stuff. And if you go to that aisle where you're like cargo shorts, bathing suit, even bathing suit, you're like, oh, bathing suit, and
Mm,
then you're like, those are boxers. Why are there used boxers here? Like this should be just thrown away. Like they should have a burn pile for any kind of underwear from a man at Goodwill or Salvation Army or whatever thrift store you're at. It's like, dude, this needs to be burned immediately.
that's the thing about. I don't know if you've been to the bins, the Goodwill bins. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I love the bins, but I hate the bins.
you wear
Because
gloves?
no, I should.
Oh,
But look, the bins come out, everybody lines up. It's like a cutthroat thing. And they line up, you have your space or whatever, and they say go, and you just dig in those bins as fast as you can because you're trying to do it. But you're reaching in, clawing in there, and whatever you come up with is what you come up with. So it's like, a whole thing of dirty underwear. Like, it's a thing. There was
like what?
diapers in there one time. Like, just
Used diapers?
no, I don't think they
Okay.
were used.
So like you can be digging in there and pulling out Walter White's undies, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So,
if I ever intrigue the idea to go with you to Ben's, I will have latex gloves on, and then I will have like regular gloves like I'm gonna go and shovel and dig a hole outside. Like I will have protection.
The first time I went, like I didn't really get it at first, and I saw these people, not everybody, but some of them, they have the gloves, they have the
Hmm.
face mask, they
Oh,
have
that's a
like the
little extra.
yeah, the full thing. But
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, I see why.
Now on those
No,
are all bins like that to where like each day is like a certain color and each day is a certain price. Like is that all bins or there are different ones like that?
so I went, it was funny because I went to the West Coast. That's the bins I normally go to. And there's so much, like the bins are um uh like you're standing and it's like right here and you've got to bend, like it goes all the way down to the floor, like,
Mm,
and so like you see short people and their legs are like sticking out, like they're just pulling stuff out. Yeah, so like it's big bins and like just rows and rows of them and stuff.
hmm.
But then I went over to the East Coast,
Hmm.
and totally different. The amount of stuff was less, and their bins are like on tables.
Hmm.
So like they're just, that deep maybe, and they're just long and
Okay.
like troughs, and they put it out. And it was funny because I was there, and because I had been over to the other one so many times, this was my first one at that one. Now I felt like it was fancy. Like I'm like, these people, are like dainty and, holding up the stuff and going through, and there's not that much. So you're not like going
Yeah.
crazy. And you're just like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like laid back, like it's weird. And
You like pull up.
one lady was talking about how crazy it is here. And I'm like, you should go over there. Like, you have no idea.
Well, I saw one. I can't remember the guy. Like I don't follow him. It was just a random TikTok one, but it's like life in the day of a reseller,
Right,
and his videos are always pretty much the same. Like it always shows like he'll show him going into the bins, and it doesn't necessarily always show him pulling stuff out. It might
right.
occasionally, but then like he'll be loading his car, and then he'll get home and he'll unload it, and then he'll do like his regular stuff. But like just seeing some of the random stuff that this guy gets, like I mean, he does like you do. He makes a living with this, but it's like random where it could be like you know a Pokemon Go plushie and vintage Levi's, a pair of Jordans, a lightsaber. Like it's
Yeah,
all this random stuff, and it's like
yeah.
what? But I guess at the bin, I mean, you're basically just pulling out what you think. Hey, this has potential. If you can get it for however much it is, $5-10. It's a pretty quick
So
turnaround.
that's the thing with the bins. It's now all the ones that I've been to, it's by the pound.
Okay.
So, you load it up by the pound, and if you're getting a bunch of shirts, it's nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like 150 or 250 a pound or whatever. Um, I get stupid cheap. I remember the
Yeah.
first time I went. The first time I went, I loaded up my cart, and then I was being super picky and looking up everything, like every
Yeah.
single thing I'm looking up and putting them back, and I'm like making my little pile, and I'm like, okay, I think this is good, and I go up and I ring it up, and it was like $11, and I'm like, what?
You're like,
I'm
oh
like,
crap! I
why didn't
should
I
have grabbed
just?
that other. Yeah.
Yeah. So like next time I went, I just loaded it up, didn't even look up anything, just put it on the thing and went. It's like if I
Yeah.
gotta crap, who cares? Like, um,
Yeah.
the only thing with the bins is, yeah. So it's usually either things that, because how Goodwill they have the color
Yeah.
tabs. So you
Yeah.
go in and it's green for this week, and everything
Right.
green is 50% off or whatever and stuff.
Right.
Well, they go through their colors, and if it makes it all the way through without being bought, then
Hmm.
it goes to the bins.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
if it sits on the shelf, for however long they have it,
Hmm.
and they take it off so they can keep a rotation because they've got so much going in.
I
So
gotcha.
that's one way the clothes gets to the bins.
Okay.
Um, the other way is if an area just has too much inventory at some point, they just basically, you know, cut this half. They don't even look at it and just send it to the bins.
So that's
So
where you potentially might find something
right,
nice. Okay.
right.
Right.
And you can usually tell, like, they'll come through the bins, and it's a lot of it will have Goodwill tags already on it,
Oh, gotcha.
priced,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, this was sitting in, and some of it doesn't. So it's like, yeah. And sometimes it's just a style or it's a size or or they just had it priced too high, like, $15 for the shirt or whatever. And so no
Yeah.
one's going to pay that a Goodwill. And then it just ends up in the bins. And
Hmm.
yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. But that brings it up. That brings up a good point. And we were talking about this earlier. So I've been to the bins. There's obviously lots of places to get inventory. I have a theory. Uh, so I want to talk about the best place to get inventory to sell on eBay.
Hmm.
Like it's like the best place to get inventory to sell on eBay. Um, you got any thoughts on that? From your experience?
I'd say like mom and pop type thrift stores, because like a lot of them, either they have stuff, if they have stuff that's worthwhile, either it's really really high or it's really really low. There's never really like an in between. So like the
Right.
things that I found, um, like that, like it could be like a vintage shirt or like a pair of shoes or something like that. Like that's always my thing. I would say that, but don't
This
say
is
don't say something weird.
your mom's underwear drawer. No,
Sorry, mom.
let's spice it up. No, and this is riveting talking about this, but we got to throw out some knowledge once in a while, right? I mean,
Throw out the knowledge.
no, I will say so. You got the bins. The bins, um, you get stuff cheap, right? You get it cheap, but you don't know what you're going to get. Are you already out?
I'm out of my
You
eggnog.
need to fill it up,
Yeah.
but you don't know what you're going to get day to day, and you got to stay there a long time. Like sometimes, a lot of people stay there all day because you got to wait for packs to come out, and you go through it, and then you wait. They bring out more. It's like, and some people are there all day to get a load, but you do get it cheap. You've got the thrift stores,
Hmm.
which sometimes can be a little pricey,
Yeah.
um, but a lot of times the stuff's cleaner, it's ready to
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
and it's more higher end sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, and then you've got garage sales.
Right.
So garage sales are great because it's cheap. Again, real cheap. But you can go to 15 garage sales and find two things. I mean,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Or you can go to one and find 15 things.
right, right.
Yeah.
But you could spend your whole Saturday in driving. And that's the thing with thrift stores too. You might have to go to a couple thrift stores.
Hmm.
Um, and estate sales, kind of the same thing. Estate sales can be pricey, but you don't know what you're walking into. And then there's flea markets.
Hmm.
Um, and to me, my number one sourcing has always been flea markets. Like, get it, get it. And the reason why is so a lot of the people out there have they go to the bins all week and bring their best stuff to the flea market. Okay,
Mm.
you got those
Okay.
people.
Okay.
Okay, you've got the garage sale people that didn't want to wait for a community garage sale, so they'll bring their stuff to the flea market.
Okay.
You've got uh, estate sales. People go and buy up estates or storage lockers and
Hmm.
bring all that crap to the flea market. And so to me, it's like one place where I can find all of those things kind of curated, and it's more expensive than the bins,
Hmm.
and more expensive than the bins and the um, the stuff like that, but it's cheaper than thrift stores
Okay.
and that. So it's kind of in the middle, and yeah, there's my
Now,
my knowledge.
now I know you said the one was open Sunday, and we went to the one Saturday because it's like every first Saturday of the month. Like, do you have
Yeah.
some that are like Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday? Like, do you have some that are like only on certain days
Yeah.
where you're like, okay, hey, that's where I'm going because I'm going Tuesday and Thursday next week, so I know where I'm going ahead of time.
So I'm going to drop this. Uh, one, no one's watching it, so I'm not afraid of the competition. Um, but yeah, so let's start. I mean, Monday, because we're here in Florida. Webster. Webster is amazing on Mondays. So, and if it's a holiday, forget about it. Like it's off
Forget
the chain.
about it.
Yeah, Monday holidays, you go to Webster. Like it's packed. Um, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, there's a flea market on 301, which I just found out about.
Okay,
I got a little flyer actually. So I haven't been to that one. But
that's
Tuesdays and
closer to
Thursdays,
me.
Wednesdays, Plant City. It's
Okay,
their busiest day. It's huge on Wednesdays.
okay,
Um, Friday, basically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's a couple of them.
okay.
Um, not so much Friday. I would say Friday is actually kind of the lower of the days, which is funny. And Saturday and Sunday, they're all kind of open.
Yeah,
Um,
I got you.
but the one I like to go on Saturday is Silver Moon. It's actually really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I lived close to there, and I mean, I never ever went there. I went to
I
see movie. I went to movies there a couple times, but like
right.
I never went to the because they call it swap meet, right? It's not flea
Yep.
market, swap meet. Yeah.
Yeah. Swaporama.
Swap these dirty underwear for that pair of shoes.
But uh, but yeah, we just dropped a whole bunch of knowledge right there.
We dropped a whole bunch of knowledge.
I feel like we should talk about movies the rest of the time or something.
Did you see Carry On yet?
No, I didn't. I saw you reviewed it, or you gave it a big thumbs up there.
I
So
did.
I wasn't. I mean, I love the people in it,
Yeah,
but it's one of those movies that could have been hit or miss. Like,
I thought the same thing, especially like because I like Jason Bateman,
yeah, love Jason Bateman.
and like the trailer you're watching, you're like, Jason Bateman is the antagonist. Like,
Right,
really,
that
bro?
with the long hair and
Yeah, it's like okay, like that's not gonna happen. But like he doesn't oversell himself. Like there's a couple
okay,
parts where like he puts some physicality into it, but it's like
okay.
he's not pretending he's the Rock. He's not pretending he's Captain
Is he more
America
like just a
or
smart villain, like or
kind of yeah. Like he's probably more like
Lex
Timothy
Luthor?
Oliphant, like in Die Hard, kind of like
Okay,
that, where like Timothy Oliphant's a bigger guy,
yes.
like probably could beat you up if you had an issue, but like he wasn't playing justified Timothy Oliphant. He was playing kind of the nerdy smart guy. But of course he has like his goons with him, so it's like he'll be like hey, take that guy out, and it's like the
Right.
guy's gone. You're like, whoa, what happened? But it was cool. Like I was surprised, just with like the overall, like because being in and out of airport, all the time, like you throughout your life, you're always wondering like how's that stuff work. So it's kind of cool that it'll show like what happens
Okay.
inside the scan of like when it's
Okay.
scanning your luggage. It
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
like
yeah.
puts you inside it. Just kind of
Does
just cool
most
stuff.
most of the whole movie happens in the airport? Like it's
Yeah, the whole thing. Like I mean,
did they
98%
see
of it.
Tom Hanks or
No, Tom Hanks got out. He made
okay,
it back
okay.
to his
Good,
country. Yeah.
good.
But no, I highly recommend that.
Okay.
Although
It's on
someone today,
Netflix, right?
yeah, it's
All right.
Netflix's movie. It's their actual
Yeah.
like production. Someone at work today though, she was like, I don't know, it was a little bit too long. I think it drug out, and I'm like, what? I was like, no. I was
So it
like,
was
I
just
am,
action. Like,
yeah, like I am critical on movies, and I'm like, dude, I'm literally. My wife hadn't watched it, and I was like, hey, let's watch it. She's like, well, no, let's wait till we go up to Ohio so I can watch it with my parents. And I was like, I bet you your dad's watched it because I know your dad. Like your dad sees an action movie, he's gonna watch it.
right.
Big Liam Neeson fan,
Mm.
and uh, and so we messaged the other night.
He's taken
He's
with Liam.
exactly. He's like, oh yeah, we already watched it. It was awesome. But when you guys get up here, we could watch it again. It's that good. And I'm like, yes. So
Do it.
we'll watch that again. But now it's like a Christmas movie because like it's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Um, So I think it'll be one of those that like each
Okay.
Christmas,
All right.
even if they pull it like in June or July, they'll put it back on in like November or December, like every year, because it'll
Yeah.
always be that Netflix Christmas movie. A little better than the Lindsay
It's
Lohan
got
one we
that Live
talked
Free
about.
Die Hard or like Phone Booth, like that
Yes,
feel like, yeah.
yes,
Okay.
dude, Phone Booth. I remember me and you
I
went and saw that
know.
in theaters, dude. That was a good movie.
Yeah. Speaking of Die Hard, I saw today, and I feel like I maybe knew this back when, but it was one of those TikTok videos or whatever stuff. But it was talking about Bruce Willis wasn't the first person to be cast in that
Oh
role.
yes, there was like 15 people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they went through, and I'm like, oh, and now you're like Bruce Willis is
Oh yeah,
McClane, like,
yeah.
um, but I'm just glad those others didn't get. But the only one, and I don't know if they said this person uh, turned down the role or was even offered, but they mentioned Harrison Ford, and I'm like, I could have seen Harrison Ford in that role. Like
Well, I think it was like the typical list. I think it was like I literally think it was like Sly, Schwarzenegger,
Schwarzenegger.
Richard Gere was in there, which is like okay.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton may have been on the list because I think that was like
Okay, that makes sense. I saw
kind of
De
like
Niro. De
De
Niro was on the
Niro was in
list.
it. Um, there was one of them I can't remember. Like I wish I could pull up the list. And like there was one in there where it was just totally like really like not Michael J. Fox, but it was like something like that where you're like maybe like John Cusack or something, but it was like very random.
Yeah,
But
which I don't. I mean, it may have been timing. It's always like if they're working on other projects, but I feel
yeah.
like Stallone or Schwarzenegger would have jumped all over that. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, did you ever hear that like the joke where Schwarzenegger and Stallone like always competed right for like movies, and
Yes,
Schwarzenegger like had his agents pretend that Schwarzenegger was really interested
I
in
love this
"Don't Stop"
story.
or "My Mom Will Shoot." And so
Yes,
Stallone's people were like, "Hey man, we have to jump on this movie. Schwarzenegger's gonna get it. We have to do this." And he's like, "Okay, let's do it." And it was a total farce. It was like, dude,
I love that.
we didn't want to do this movie. Why in the
I
world did you agree
love
to do
that.
this? So I've seen that. I've probably seen that 5 times, sadly.
Yeah,
But it's one of those. It's like it's hilarious. Like it's so bad that you know that like Stallone didn't want to do it. That was like his heyday, and that was like probably right after like Demolition Man, and he had done all the Rambos and Rockies at that point. And it's like, why are you what? Why are you in this movie? That would have been one of those that would have been like Jim Belushi
yeah,
or
yeah.
like Sean Penn's brother, where it was like just like
Right.
it was like random person. Like that would have been the movie he would have been in, and it's like, how in the world did you get Stallone through this? But
Speaking of that, so MegaCon is coming up next year, but early.
Orlando,
Yeah.
okay,
But you know who they've been announcing people like crazy, but they just announced a family. Um, and I thought it was hilarious, but one of them I'm like, oh, I got to the Howards. So Ron Howard, which is
oh
amazing.
wow,
Yeah. Bryce Dallas, and then Clint Howard, Ron's
oh
brother.
Lord,
Like no one's gonna be in his
dude, dude, this literally for the 4 people that are watching this, you have to go and Google this. It might have been MTV. I'm pretty sure it probably was like MTV Movie Award, but it may have been like Emmys, Grammys, something.
right.
But you had people like come on like the really like Star and Glazy, and they're like, oh man, when I hear the name Clint, and it was like Meryl Streep, like it was these people where you're like, oh man, they're talking about Clint Eastwood, and they're just like, man, when I was in that movie with Clint, it took my breath away, and then like all of a sudden it was like, and now presenting Clint Howard, and you're like, you're not talking about Clint Eastwood. I'm totally butchering it, but go and watch it. Like Google that and find it.
I'm
It's
gonna go
worth
watch
it.
it now.
It's worth it.
I'm definitely putting up a picture of Clint right now.
Oh, dude, right here. That guy is the man. I bet him and Booger could have done Bad Boys.
Yes.
Drop Will Smith and Martin Lawrence and just put Booger and
Oh
Clint
my
Howard in that.
gosh. Yes.
Did we
Dude.
just get a Netflix movie together?
We did. There it
Yeah.
is.
So write the check.
Oh, that's
I'll help write
awesome.
it. I'll help write it. It's fine.
We could throw in a trio. Be like, Um, but yeah, so Rod Howard though, I'm definitely like, but I'm torn. I don't know. I'm gonna get something signed, but
Yeah.
it's either gonna be a Apollo 13 poster or a
Okay.
Willow poster. Uh, I I'll be honest, I'd rather do the Willow poster,
Hmm.
but I like the look of the Apollo 13 poster better.
I
I
knew
mean,
you had. I knew you had Apollo 13 poster, but I didn't know you had a Willow poster.
I don't. I'll have to get one.
I was like, what? Um, I don't know. That is tough. Like, I wouldn't know. Man, yeah. Because I mean, Apollo 13 is just a phenomenal film that he did, and the cast in that's crazy great.
Yeah,
But Willow is like nostalgic, which we're talking only Willow, not the sequel or the
right,
series or anything.
right.
Um, but but yeah, no, that is a tough choice. I thought
Mhm.
not that Ron Howard and them is not great. I was thinking you were gonna go like way extreme, like yeah, I can't believe they're having the whole entire cast of I don't know something.
No, but yeah, I've never seen him at a con. Like, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, what's like 150 is like an expensive autograph, right? So he'll probably be like 250 or 300.
No, I looked it up, 140.
Oh, really? So he's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, he's right
Oh, I
there.
mean, not that he needs the money, but I mean,
I I think Clint actually pays you to.
oh, hey guys. And he signs at Clint Eastwood. It's like, wait, no, 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 you're not allowed to do that. You can't forge him.
That's awesome. Um, I did talk about a trio. I just saw a Christmas movie the other day, and I had no idea this movie existed, which is weird.
Mm, mm.
No idea this movie existed. You'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, I've watched that many times," but I was excited. Like this is an old movie I didn't know existed. It's a Christmas movie, so it had Nicolas Cage in it.
Family Man.
No, that's a great movie. Nicolas Cage. It
Okay.
had John Lovitz and
Oh,
Dana Carvey.
Trapped in Paradise.
Trapped in Paradise. I'd
Yes.
never seen that movie.
I have seen it. Like, aren't they bank robbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically they're bank robbers, like they're brothers or something. I don't think Dana Carvey's a brother, but he lives with them. And their mom's crazy. But they go to this town and they rob the bank, but it's like a snowstorm and stuff, and they're horrible, like robbers and stuff. But it's this like Pleasantville like town,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like the guard is sleeping, like the camera's not even hooked up, like it's one of those, right? So
Yeah.
it's easy, but they get out and they crash their car and like they implode themselves, right? And so um they crash the car and they get out. Well, like the cops come, but the cops like help them and pull them in, and then the whole town, like they have to go back to the town with the money. No one knows that they were the robbers because they would have masks on and stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, the town takes them in, and
Yeah.
they're trapped. And the town's called Paradise, so they're trapped in
We should
paradise.
go there because we're picking paradise.
Yeah, we should.
Where's it at?
I don't know, somewhere where it snows.
Let it snow.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I have seen that. I've seen it once for sure, but like I remember the trailer because for some stupid reason, like you always have certain movies or trailers that like stick in your head. And there's a
Yes.
part from the movie, pretty positive it was a trailer, unless I'm just randomly remembering the movie. But Nicolas Cage, I believe, is saying it to one of the other guys. Because he's like, yeah, I just did what the map said. I made four lefts. And like Nicolas
Right.
Cage gets
Yes.
really mad. He's
That's
like,
a
four
circle.
lefts is a circle, you idiot. Um,
Yes.
I always remember that when I'm getting lost and I'm like, well, if I let me turn here, let me turn here, let me turn here again. It's like, oh, there we go. It's like, no, no, no. You just made four lefts, buddy. Like you just made a circle.
So that is funny because yeah, Nicolas Cage is plays like this serious guy. He's trying to like do the right thing, and of course Dana Carvey's just an idiot.
Yeah.
And John Lovitz is a predator. Like he's just kind of that.
Oh man, now I want to rewatch that now. It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, Family Man is good. I know I said that. That's a great Christmas
Hmm.
movie.
Yeah, it is.
That's a good spin because that's like what like a Christmas Carol, right? Because it's kind of like
Right.
it shows him
Yeah.
like what his life would have been if he would have, done it differently. So that was a great movie.
Speaking of that, just reminded me. I just so the big Christmas movie. You're talking about Christmas Carol, but It's a Wonderful Life.
Hmm.
Um, Classic Christmas
Yeah,
movie. What's his name in it? Oh, I'm gonna
Stewart,
feel stupid now. Stewart. Yeah,
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. Um, there was a movie, and I feel stupid that I didn't know this, but I feel like no one talked about it. There was like I was going to bed the other night, and it just popped up, and I'm like, oh, it's an old Jimmy Stewart movie or whatever. Um, and uh, and it was black and white, and I started playing the movie, just something to go to sleep with in and stuff, and I'm like, wait, I've seen this movie, and then I realized that there's a movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and that movie's a straight copy of this movie, and I had no idea.
Joe versus the
Um,
volcano.
no, no one can top that movie. No, the so the movie's called Shop Around the Corner.
Oh, so it's you got mail.
Exactly,
Okay.
but it's there's some parts in it that are like word for word. Like,
Wow.
yeah, like I didn't even know. Like, so in this one, it's a little different in that he works at this shop, and this girl comes and gets a job at the shop, so they both work at the shop.
Oh, okay,
But
gotcha.
they're of course it's snail mail. They're mailing their pen pals or whatever, and
Gotcha.
but they don't know they're mailing to each other. And but
Okay.
there's a part, and I don't know if you remember, but in You've Got Mail, where it's the first time they're going to meet,
Hmm.
and she's in like this coffee shop or whatever,
Hmm.
and Tom Hanks is outside, and then he basically sees that it's her because she's got the carnation and stuff, and so he goes in, doesn't tell her, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like pissed and stuff, and he makes a whole thing and sits next to her and like eggs her on, like, "Where's your date?" All the stuff or
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
It's like a straight copy from the movie. Like they did the same
Wow.
exact dialogue, the same thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
And which is, it's cool, but I feel like no one talked about that. I don't remember anybody saying like, "Oh yeah, You've Got Mail's a remake." Like,
Yeah, there's movies like that. Like one pops in my head right now. I just thought about that. Like there's movies like that. You're like, oh, it's such a great movie, but it's a remake. Father of the Bride is a remake.
yes, yeah,
Like
I
it was
found
like
that out
in
later.
the 40s or 50s, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
Like, dude, like I always get mad now because like Hollywood just totally rips on movies, or it's like a trilogy now because they did one more movie and they're like, oh well, no, because number two is so good, we're gonna do number three. You
right,
know,
right.
where it's like, no, you should have just stayed with one and just been like that.
Yeah,
Um, but there's no originality in Hollywood. But it's like looking back, it's like, well, there wasn't originality in the 80s, 90s, and 2000 because we ripped movies from the 50s and 60s, and you just didn't know about it because you didn't watch those movies. So
yeah,
I feel like there's probably a couple of those movies out there that you're like, oh, that's such a great movie, and you're like, no, it's actually just a remake of a movie. Because
exactly.
You Got Mail is a good rom com.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
not
great
I'm
one.
I'm not a huge Meg Ryan fan. I like her more in When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah,
Um, but what's the other one that they did? They did When Harry Met Sally.
the two of
You
them,
Got Mail. Yeah,
or Tom Hanks.
yeah,
Of
the
course,
two of
Joe
them.
versus the volcano.
Right.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's You Got Mail is good, but that's probably because I like Harry Met Sally with her. I know Tom Hanks isn't in it, but then Sleepless in Seattle and then You Got Mail.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, not a, I don't know, not a huge Meg Ryan fan, but I know there's appeal to her back in the day. Like she was kind of, it was either her or Julia Roberts, like for every
right.
role in the '90s. It seemed like.
And she was like the every woman, like,
Speaking of Tom Hanks, did you go and see? Was it What If or something like that? What was the movie where it was like Robert Zemeckis did it, and it was
here.
just like here? Did you see it?
No, I'm pretty upset with myself.
I didn't see it either, so I'm kind of waiting for it to go on streaming just because it's Zemeckis and it's Tom Hanks, and it's probably a really good movie, but I
Well,
was just like,
and Jenny, I mean,
right, Jenny in it, she's not doped out or on
right.
crystal meth or something. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just it was one of those that looked really cool and the idea was cool, and it's like, man, Zemeckis is that's
Yeah.
groundbreaking, that's
Yeah.
crazy awesome, but it's like,
I
who's really
know.
going to
Like
go watch it?
I wanted to go to
Yeah,
support it because of
yeah,
that, like cast and the premise and everything and stuff. And but yeah, I never made it. So
yeah,
because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I may get not that I get bored, but sitting at home streaming, I may not pay attention as much as if I
yeah.
went to the theaters to watch it, a movie like
Yeah,
that.
well, I mean, this is not like anywhere near like that. It's not like great movie as far as storytelling or whatever. But Red One, right? Like the Rock movie, the Santa Claus movie.
Yes.
Um, my wife ended up seeing it with a friend of hers, and she's not like a real like Marvel, like funny,
Yeah.
because she's like, oh, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that's what I kind of felt like it was, and I'm like, you've never seen Guardians of the Galaxy. And she's like, oh, well, it's like that. Like, it's like, there's a talking polar bear. And I'm like,
Okay. Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like Rocket Raccoon. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, I was like, bless you. But she said it was good.
Bless
So
you,
I was like,
child.
okay, cool. I'll try to watch it. And I got about halfway through because it was on Amazon like literally 3 days later. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, thank goodness that I didn't go and spend, 15, $20 for a ticket when I can just watch it at home, essentially for free, with my
Let's
subscription. Um, but I'm like halfway through. I haven't finished it yet.
let's talk about that because yeah, um, my mom, she told me she's like, oh yeah, I watched Red One, with my youngest son. Like they
Hmm.
watched it, and she's like, oh, you got to see it. I loved it. And I'm like, oh, you guys went to the movies? And she's like, no, it was on Amazon. And I'm like, what? And it just popped out on Amazon, and I'm like, it's still in theaters. Like,
Yeah,
so I went and looked, and I mean, it hasn't bombed in the box office, but it hasn't done
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Um, and so, like, they must be doing that. Like, hey, we know we don't have DVD sales anymore, like, whatever and stuff. If it's starting to see it, that it's bomb, let's make a huge deal with Netflix or Amazon or whoever
yeah.
and get our money back. Like,
Well,
that's crazy.
they have that now, which like what I'm trying to like exclusive, like oh well, this is a Peacock exclusive, or this is an Amazon exclusive, where it's like it's in theater for 2 weeks, but then we're gonna own the rights to it, and we're gonna have it on there for streaming. So it's like I'm just gonna wait the 2 weeks to watch it. Like okay, no big deal. Like
Yeah.
I don't mind waiting and saving. And I love going to the movies, but it's also one of those too. It's like I want to go and like really enjoy a good movie. Like I'm not going to just randomly go and see a movie. Like the last movie I went and saw was probably I think I saw one after me and you went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Um, oh, I went and saw Venom 3. I think that was the last
Okay.
one.
The Last
But
Dance.
before that, I had saw Twisters.
Yes.
And I like Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton one, like that's
Right.
almost
It's classic.
yeah, it's classic, absolutely. And like this one was so much like the first one, like to the clothes they were wearing. It's like okay, and then he had a red Dodge Ram just like Bill
Oh,
Paxton
wow.
did, and it's like, but they're like, this is not related. It's in the same universe, but it's not related, and it's like it's in the same
Okay.
universe that it's on Earth
Did
because
they
that's
use
about
Dorothy? It's like they're a different version
yes.
of Dorothy.
No, there was Dorothy, but like there was nothing. It was not, oh, well, this is Bill, whoever, like whatever his name, like this, there was no mention. It was like, so that'd be like making Die Hard and having someone named McClane, but he's not related to John McClane. It's like,
Right.
so you're going to go to Nakahami Tower and your name's Gary McClane, but this has nothing to do with
It's a
Die Hard.
coincidence. Yeah.
Like it was so cheesy like that. Like I'd rather you just do a straight remake, or
Right.
it would have been very easy to just be like, okay, well, this is his granddaughter. That's it. Just say that it's his granddaughter, and that's how she had access to Dorothy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like they're like, oh no, this has nothing to do with it. This is just a completely random movie. We're not remaking Twister, but we're remaking Twister, and
Hmm.
it's I hope that that's not the way that they start doing movies nowadays, where they're just completely ripping off another movie and just slapping like a different name on it. It's like, okay, well, for all the buddy cop movies, like each one has its own like nostalgic feel. But it's like that. It's like, what are you gonna do with movies nowadays where you're just gonna completely regurgitate the same movie but call it something else?
Yeah, but I saw a video the other day, and it was someone talking about going on it was a actor. He was going on the Warner Brothers set, like the studio set and stuff. And he said it was just a ghost town, right? And this other guy was like, "Oh yeah, we were at the whatever studio, and it was a ghost. Like we went like 3 blocks before we saw a person and stuff." And they were talking about how little movies are being made, like being greenlit and stuff,
Yeah,
and like where these lots used to be just packed, and there used to be
yeah,
productions going on, even if the production didn't make it at theaters, like there was stuff going on and stuff. But like now, and it's so much for it to get to the theaters because people don't want to. It's not a sure thing anymore. And
yeah,
now they're just like, let's just make a Netflix movie or whatever. Which I mean, those movies are becoming more popular. Like there's going
right,
to be Netflix stars instead of Hollywood stars or whatever.
right,
Um, but yeah, so they're trigger shy to do anything that's not already been done before.
yeah. Well, I mean, you
Oh,
have
which
that
I
now. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You have that thing now where like actors will sign on to do like a Netflix deal. Like I know, like Adam
Yeah,
Sandler did it, Kevin James did it. Um, somebody like more recent, I think, Hangman guy from the newer Maverick, like the blonde hair
yep,
guy with the
yep,
glasses. In the Netflix movie, I can't remember the name of it. Me and my wife watched it. It was decent. Like it was one of
yeah,
those where it was like, okay, hey, it's original. I'll take it. It was a decent little
right,
movie. But I think that's what a lot of the actors are doing now is they'll be like, hey, I'll make these 2 movies for you, but I really want to do a movie like this. And they're like, oh, well, we have a movie. Well, if you do these 2 crappy movies, we'll let you do that.
yeah.
Um, I think
When they
that's
could
kind of the
be
new,
on the Netflix, they can be a little bit more original and try things because it's like, everybody's gonna watch it because it's on there. They're already
right,
paying for it.
right.
So if it sucks, they just stop watching or go to the next movie or whatever and stuff, or just play it in the background. So there's not,
One,
yeah,
absolutely. One movie I'm waiting on for streaming, which it may be like on HBO, and I don't have HBO anymore. But and I can't remember the name. I'm going to butcher the name, but it's like Megalopolis or something like that. It's Adam
that's
Driver.
exactly that's
Is it
exactly the name. You
Mega
know who the
Meg?
director is?
Was it? It wasn't Scorsese, was it?
No,
No.
no,
Who's the director?
Coppola,
Oh,
Francis
Coppola.
Ford
Oh, dude,
Coppola.
it popped right then. I was like,
Yeah,
Coppola.
which
Yeah,
they're obviously Godfather,
yeah,
um, but yeah, studios didn't want to spend money on this, like so. Yeah, we'll see, because that's supposed to be a big blockbuster. Like, I
yeah.
mean,
Saying that spending money, like I totally like this is a random fact, and it's somewhat plausible and believable, but it's like I didn't even research it, so I might be telling you it's fake news. But so for the first John Wick, they were like
hmm
doing the movie and they got a third of the way in or like just started production. And like they didn't have enough money to finish the movie. And so Eva Longoria, like I know she was
yeah,
in like the TV show that I never watched.
Evo
Um,
Longoria, Desperate Housewives.
yes, that's where I was like the lady from that. I don't even know if she's a director or producer, but like she put up $5 million of like her money to
Huh,
finish the production for John Wick. So now
smart.
I'm like, I was like, dude, I wonder if she got kickback from that and John Wick 2 and 3 and 4 and now
Heck
Ballerina's
yeah.
coming out and it's like, dude, you just made like deal of a lifetime for what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, but I thought it was very random and very cool like that you have people like that in Hollywood that's like, man, I feel really strong about this movie. Which actors do that sometimes where it's like, they'll take a pay cut. Like Keanu Reeves,
Yeah.
actually speaking of John Wick, like he took a big pay cut for Devil's Advocate so they could sign Al
Yes.
Pacino. I remember that back in the day where it was like, whatever he was going for a movie, he's like, you know what, I'll take half of that if you can get Pacino. Like if that'll lock him in, then do it. It's like
Yeah.
that. I know me and you both like Devil's Advocate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But nah, man, they're I don't know Hollywood and movies hit and miss nowadays, especially like you said, like with streaming. Like, how long is it going to be the theaters? How long is it going to be on streaming? Is it only going to be on streaming? That's one reason why I don't get into TV shows a lot now because
Yeah.
it'll be, like Hulu is really bad about that, where Hulu will show like all but CBS, because CBS I think has their own streaming, but like they'll show all the shows and stuff like the day after, the next, like 2 days after. But then if you don't go and watch it fast enough, then it's like 3 weeks later, it's like, oh, sorry, you missed it, you can't watch it anymore.
Yep.
A little bit irritating on that, but all the all the streaming service like Succession, I always wanted to watch that because it got like all these awards and it was really cool, looked really awesome. But like I don't have HBO or uh, Showtime or whatever it's on, where it's like, how am I supposed to watch these things if it's like only for that subscription? And it gets annoying.
Yeah. So that reminds me, a big trailer just popped out today.
I saw.
Uh,
I didn't watch the trailer. I
okay.
saw the clip where the trailer's available. Go with
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Superman.
Superman.
Superman, James Gunn's Superman, which everybody's like, he went from Marvel to
Yep.
DC, and he's going to be the Kevin Feige of DC or whatever.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, I watched the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's interesting. Obviously, that's a big movie next year, July, coming to
11th,
theaters.
I think.
Yeah, um, and but it's funny because I also saw another trailer the other day, and it was by
Technical difficulties.
another trailer. But we lost Adam. He's gone forever. Um, I could hear him. He's somewhere in that in the cloud. Come back. There's a movie, and it's, to me, the trailer for this movie is better than the Superman trailer, and it's a movie not coming to theaters. It's coming to Netflix next year, but it's called The Electric State. Have you
Ooh.
seen this?
Did you say
It's
steak?
Yes, Deuce. Um,
Did somebody
uh,
say steak? That's sad that you knew what I was talking about.
Electric State, and
Okay.
it's got so it kind of looks like Guardians, but it's got
Okay.
Chris Pratt. It's got
Of course.
11 from
Okay.
Stranger Things. She's kind of
Yeah.
the star of it. Um,
Okay.
it's got like robots.
Oh,
It's
is she
sci-fi.
playing his daughter?
I don't know if she's his daughter. I don't know.
Okay, because now
Um,
I kind of vaguely remember hearing that they were doing a movie together, but I didn't know what it was called. But okay.
but the trailer looks fantastic, and it's the Russo brothers,
Okay.
the guys who did Civil War and the Marvel movies, Endgame and stuff. So huge movie, huge cast, huge directing next year, and it's Netflix. So it's like, and then you've got same time Superman, huge movie coming to theaters. It's like, but yeah, you got to go watch the trailer. Now they put out a new trailer. I like the first trailer because they did Oasis, Champagne Supernova,
Okay.
in the sky. Um, but
Then the
but
trailer's
it's
out already?
really good. Yeah, yeah, they got two
Okay.
trailers. Yeah,
And what's it called? Something State?
Electric State.
Electric State. Hey,
Yeah,
TikTok, remember to show me Electric State later.
it's electric.
A boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Um,
Yeah, I actually like Chris Pratt, but he's in like everything now. I think he's literally like, what, Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, like he's just
I
in
know.
every movie. So
Yeah,
I know eventually he'll jump ship and go to DC. He'll do something there,
yeah,
especially with James Gunn. I'm sure they're buddies because of Guardians.
yeah.
No,
Well,
go ahead.
Nathan Fillion is
Yes,
Green Lantern, and
I'm
they show a
excited for
clip
that.
of him. I am
I'm
too.
excited. I'm excited for that because I was never a fan of Firefly with Nathan Fillion, but I like his show, I
Right.
like The Rookie,
Yeah.
and I like him in that. But I heard something. I need to know who tells me these things, man, because like it's like inside information.
Yeah.
But I heard that I don't know if I like this or hate this, but they're searching for like another Batman, right, for DC James Gunn.
Okay. Okay.
Because I heard Jensen Ackles, or however you say his name,
Yeah.
is from Supernatural. Like I heard that was actually a done deal, and then like now I
Hmm.
think that was fake news.
Okay.
So they're talking about just keeping Robert Pattinson. That once he'll do Batman 2, because it's either filming or near filming or something, but they're like, once he does that, we're going to introduce him as Batman. So that Batman is then just going to become DC for James Gunn. And it's like, okay.
Mm. I hope I like Batman too. Have you watched Penguin?
I have it. It's HBO. I don't have it.
Yeah, I heard it's really good.
Yeah. And
I
I,
haven't watched
I,
it.
I like Colin Farrell.
I do too.
I even liked him as Bullseye and Deadpool. I think he was the
I
best
did
part.
too. He was.
Just totally cheesy. And
Although I did love Wilson Fisk, the Green Mile. I
oh,
loved him.
man. Michael Clark Duncan.
Yes. Sad.
Leaving on a jet plane.
Oh.
Subscribe to our channel and I'll sing the whole song. I'll be Michael Clark Duncan and you can be Steve Buscemi.
We should start a Patreon. Just me and you will be in it. We can pay ourselves, but yeah,
Okay.
we can sing to each other.
Yes, that sounds good.
Karaoke night. I feel like we did a good movie podcast here.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, it gives people, because that's the inside, that's like the inside realm of our brain. Like we're totally movie and TV and, nerds as far as that, nostalgia.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it lets them creep in a little bit. Even when we did Funko Pops, we still talked about movies sometimes. So
Oh yeah.
I
Oh, I
think
got to
we
show you what I got.
always need to do that. Show me what you got.
So yeah, so like I was saying while I'm filming, I'm like, I got to find some cool stuff. And this guy had a really cool booth. It was all collectible stuff and comics. So I went to the comics right away. And he had these a bunch of Spider-Man, but it wasn't Amazing Spider-Man. It was all 90s stuff. And one sitting on the top, it was marked at $80. It wasn't an $80 comic. But I'm like, maybe it's just a sticker, like an old sticker or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at the box, and he comes over, and I'm like, hey, and he's telling me all about it. I'm like, how much for the box? And he's like, well, I don't know. And he's like, shoot me a number. And I'm like, no, you tell me a number. Like, what do you need? And he's like, I was thinking 300. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, it's not worth 300, but
Yeah.
And so anyway, he had a bunch of cool stuff. He had a whole Stan Lee area, and it was some signed Stan Lee comics, but they weren't graded or anything. So,
Yeah.
they weren't authenticated. It was just some Wolverine signed. And he was like, I'll give you all the Stan Lee stuff, $500. And I'm like, And so he was high on like a lot of his prices.
Mm-hmm.
And he had some Disney stuff. Well, there was some Disney stuff that I saw, and I'm like, let me just ask him, like, how much is this? And it was some older stuff, and like from the 50s, 60s, and up and stuff. And it was a package, and he looks over and he goes, "Oh, for that lot, $20." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went over there, and I'm like, for $20, like, I'm gonna grab it, even if it's, I'd love to just do the research on it and stuff. Like the $10 cards I should have got, but But let me show you what's in this. So you've got some older Mickey Mouse toys.
Pluto.
And I'll get to some of the older ones and stuff, but it's the ones like the old dolls. He's missing a leg. Pinocchio.
Geppetto cut his leg off because he needed firewood.
Those are whatever. But this Goofy's pretty cool.
Okay. Have you researched this?
No, not yet. I just got him.
Dude, that looks like just Goofy alone looks like that's a good flip for
I know.
$20. Like you could probably
for $20
back on that.
For $20. And still keep going. Mini.
Oh.
Yeah, so these are like old, like,
Mini in a mini skirt.
These are, I know these are older.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Mickey and Minnie, yeah. Like those are the old Old school,
Dude, that might be like 50, $60 for one of those.
right? Um, and then these were super cool. So these are old puppets.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You stick your hand up there?
You stick your hand up there. Stick your hand up, Goofy or Mickey or Donald Duck. But I know these are older.
Quack Attack is back, Jack.
But I'm like, for $20, it's got the old Walt Disney hand puppet, on the tag and stuff. But
Dude,
I'm like,
that might be worth some money, bro.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness.
And even if it's not, like, now I know, at least I'll make a little bit of money, if not a bunch of money.
Yeah.
But just for the research and stuff. But yeah, I was like, I can't pass that up. But it's weird because he had all this stuff priced super high, and he's like,
Yeah.
$20 for that. Like,
Yeah. I guess that's kind of the thing. Like, you always have to find like what somebody doesn't want. Where it's
right.
like, $300. It's like, yeah, right, buddy. And then you kind of look around. Well, what about this?
Yeah, and I wasn't even gonna ask. Like after those prices, I'm like,
yeah,
I'll just, get, say thanks and move along.
yeah.
Move along. But yeah, he's like, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Good find.
Right?
I'd almost sell everything and keep the Goofy.
I love the Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yuck. Yeah. So yeah, that was my big find. I mean, my fun find. I also got these Nikes, which I've never seen before.
They look like boxing.
Yeah, and they've got these cool embroidery on them.
Are those women's that was look like boots?
They're women's boots. Yeah.
Okay. What size?
You wear women's boots?
No, thinking for my wife.
They are size 9.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
How much you buy them for?
Strap. So I bundled them. I got like 3 pairs of shoes for $30.
Mm.
They were good pairs of shoes, like good Nikes.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely that's very unique.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like nice, like embroidered, like textured. Yeah,
like Louis Vuitton.
I like shoes because you can just look up the number code on it, like on the tag. You just put that code into eBay, pops right up. Yeah.
So even if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
We wrapping up?
Yeah. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I had a snack before, but
that's a good job.
I could eat.
I came from the vet with our new dog. Yeah.
Your new dog or your son's dog?
Our new dog, because she found out she's not spayed. Yeah, so we're gonna take care of that, like get that done. Although she's a golden doodle, not a labradoodle, but a golden doodle.
Okay.
Mini golden doodle, and
nice.
So cute. And we could probably make some money, if we wanted to breed her, but I'm not messing with that. Like that's.
Yeah, I would never. I always feel bad for that. Like when I've been to garage sales, which seems weird, but like a garage sale where you're going up and there's like a pen where there's like 12 puppies. And they're like, "Do you guys want a puppy?" And I'm like,
"Oh yeah."
But I couldn't imagine like feeding and cleaning up all their crap. Like if you had 7 or 8, 10, 12 dogs.
Yeah. Oh, I lost your audio for a second. My sister-in-law.
My wife was calling me at the moment.
Sorry. So real quick, my sister-in-law, they have a dog, and the one that lives in another city, and they have a dog, cute little dog, and they were telling us that they got the dog for free, but with stipulation, and they're like, it's a breeding dog. We're like, what? And basically how it works is which I didn't even know this was a thing, but basically it's their dog except for when it's breeding season,
Okay.
and the owners of the dog come and get the dog, keep the dog for 2 weeks to breed the dog, and it's a
Hmm.
female, to breed the dog, and then give the dog back. And then they keep the dog while the dog has puppies and stuff. And then when the dog has puppies, they come and get the puppies. They can keep a puppy. But
Hmm.
and they just do this. Like it's just a thing. So I'm like, wait, so you could breed dogs and never have to have the dog at your house, or because they live in a different city. So it's like
Hmm.
they literally just come get the dog, breed it, and then give it back. And then when the puppies are here, they come get the puppies. Like
That's pretty cool. I've never
pretty
heard of that.
brilliant. I know.
Yeah.
I hadn't either.
Who let
And
dogs out?
yeah, so someone else is watching your dog, paying, food, doing all that stuff, taking care of the dog, and but they get to keep the dog for free, and you
Hmm.
just take the puppies. Like, I don't know, that sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, there you go.
Well, thanks for joining us today on Pickin' Paradise.
Pickin' Paradise.
Are we doing
Is
the
this where
mugs?
is this where the
It's a pickin' paradise where the old terms
Y'all come back
go.
now, you hear?
you hear?
Writing hidden stories in the pieces soul. Every scratch and scar got a tale they told. In this pickin' paradise where dreams unfold.